The chapter for week 3 is Optimal Risky Portfolios. In this chapter, the concept of portfolio formation moves beyond the risky and risk-free asset combinations that we'd seen in the previous chapter to include combinations of two or more risky assets. The concept of risk reduction via diversification, created by combining securities with different return patterns, is introduced. In this chapter, we describe how investors can construct the best possible risky portfolio. The key concept here is efficient diversification. Diversification is based on the old saying, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket." Harry Markowitz introduced a rigorous model showing how to make the most of the power of diversification. This chapter is largely developed from his work as well as from later insights that build on his work. We start with a bird's eye view of how diversification reduces the variability of portfolio returns. We then turn to the construction of optimal risky portfolios. We follow a top-down approach, starting with asset allocation across a small set of broad asset classes such as stocks, bonds, and money market securities. Then we show how the principles of optimal asset allocation can easily be generalized to solve the problem of security selection among many risky assets. Finally, we discuss the efficient set of risky portfolios and show how it leads us to the best attainable capital allocation. This chapter can be divided into three main parts. The first part talks about diversification, and it divides the overall risk of a security into two categories: the market risk or the systematic risk, which cannot be diversified away, and the unique or the firm-specific risk, which is also known as the diversifiable risk because it can be reduced to zero with diversification. The second part of this chapter is based on the investment decision. We start with asset allocation comprising of two risky assets and then extend that model to accommodate more than two risky assets or multiple risky assets. And then we form the optimal risky portfolio with risky assets and a risk-free asset. The third and the final part of this chapter deals with the Markowitz portfolio optimization model.